Hi everyone, Clovis here from KinematicLAB. This video is about EchOoo PRO, which is the advanced version of EchOO. In this version you have a lot more interesting motion graphic tools. So, like in the standard version, EchOoo PRO is essentially based on mesh copies over time delay. But you also have now transform offsets. So if I create my EchOO object, pick a source, add some duplications, you can offset positions without any changings, okay, on each axis, okay, you can invert, right, the rotations as well, on each axis. And all this is happening on top of the animation of this object. So if I do this rotation offset, I can do the global one using this. And the scales as well. So what is great is that you can now animate all these duplications without using any keyframes on the objects, okay? So these values can be animated. Let's say we start from 0 and we want them to be offsetted like that. Can use the frame delay to separate the animation. For the moment there is no animation on the source object. And what is great is that now you can change the amount of duplications, dynamically without any changes. Someone asked me to add an option to random the material IDs, so the basic behavior is just each copies have the same material ID, so for the moment just the ID 1, but you can use the new material ID checkbox here to generate a new one on each copy. So for the moment I have a multi-sub object with 7 different material IDs, but which means that it goes to 7 and start from 1, go to 7, start from 1, go to 7. Okay, so that's really great to do some motion graphics things. I think it's very fun. Okay, let's add a Z position on top of it. So that's quite fun effect. If you uncheck this checkbox time offset based, you will see that these offset values here will affect the copies, all the copies at the same time. So it will not use the frame delay, and it will not be animated one by one, but all together. So if I check it, you see that now it's much more interesting. But it could be good to use this option too. That's why this is animatable, so you can, for example, use it like that, one by one, and then once you're okay with the animation, let's say here, you can check it off. So until then it's alright. And then I want from here to, I don't know, 200 to something else, but which is more on all the objects at the same time. So I will just change this value to show you the difference. So one by one there, and from this time they slide all together. You can of course use the curve editor to change those keys or remove some of them. So if I just remove the key I put on the time offset, see now that the behavior is changing. So it's good to have the possibility to animate all those values, all those checkboxes. So something else now. Just wanted to show you that you can use an object as a pivot point. So if I create a helper here, I can pick it here with the pick pivot button, okay, and use it to rotate the objects around. And what is great is that you can animate this pivot point, so you can really create some really fun motion graphics type of motion. If, for example, on top of that you had a position offset, you can really have a nice deformation. Maybe it's a bit too much, just 100. And you can animate that. Don't forget that you can always offset the animation of the source object. So I have an offset here, which can really do nice things. If, for example, I don't animate that by hand, but put sort of noise controller on the rotation, those rotations. Can do really fun things. So this was for external pivot point. Now I will show you that you can also use splines to place your copies. So if I draw a spline on the view, quickly like that, and use this Pick Spline button, you will be able to place all the objects along the spline with this percentage that you can animate. You can slide them from 0 to 100, okay, or invert it if you want to start from the end, okay. And what is great is that you can also slide along the spline, and the last one will be deleted, the first one will be replaced. It's completely dynamic, so you can create chains, you can create a lot of great things with that, and animate the source object as well. And again with offsets. And you still have access to the rotation offsets, etc. And all this can be animated again. And of course you can move, rig and animate the spine exactly as you want, which can be really great. As you can see, if I move this vertex here, it sort of stretched the position of all the objects. But what I did is that, like in the path constraint, I added an option called constant velocity, that if I uncheck it, I can stretch only a part of the spline. Okay, you see when I change that point, it will not change anything over here. So with this new tool we can do a lot of motion graphic effects, like the one I will show you now. I'll just make plane with some subdivisions like that. a noise on it. Okay, so that noise is animated. I will input that into EchOoo PRO. Okay, so I have my copy, just one for the moment. Let's say I make 20 copies and I want them to slide over this axis. So for the moment it's exactly the same copy. I can offset the time of it. So you can create some good looking motion graphic waves with stripes, but a lot of things can be done with that type of things. I can animate the center position as well. And if it's not enough for you, you also can change all that, animate the rotations, top of it, like this one, even animate the rotation of the source object. Okay, you start to understand what I want to do. So you can make those waves slide on top of all these deformations. So that's really great. The other way I showed on the examples was to do it with some boxes or planes. So I have that noise rotation, and I want now to duplicate this object to EchOoo PRO, so I make a few duplications. At the moment they do exactly the same thing. I can delay it. Okay, so now I only have one row. Okay, but I can duplicate that using another EchOoo PRO object, where I pick this line and I duplicate it now along another axis. So don't think that you can all do into only one object. You can pick it into another one and another one, and really multiplicate the effects like that. That's it. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. Cheers.